What's up, guys? Welcome back to Digital Diving, your proper gaming talk show.
Hey,
Where we go over the latest news. Actually, you know what? That's the old intro, and that's just stuck in my head. It's your boys, Monkey and Tiger.
Panda did not drop. He just went into hibernation for a little bit. That's all.
He's a bear. He has to go into hibernation for it. That's just what bears do.
No, I mean, you're not wrong, though. We are going over some news today.
We are going over news. It's been a while. We're actually going over news. We haven't done actual news in like 2 months.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, gaming has been so quiet the last few months because like it was either everybody was talking about games releasing, a showcase, the Game Awards,
exactly,
or like Christmas in general.
That's news, but like not
like the last good piece of news we got was about Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, and that game released and no one talked about it. So
you know why? Because performance suffered, and it was supposed to be what was that supposed to be, Patrick?
It was supposed to be a next-gen game. And that's the topic for today. We're talking about what it means to be next-gen and why games have not been feeling next-gen lately. I mean, recently, like literally I guess this was back in December that this actually dropped. But I only heard about it like last week or earlier this week. I forget. But Todd Howard came out and said that 30 FPS in our games is totally okay. And I'm over here like, no, the fuck it's not. Because that's not next-gen worthy. We already went over
for Bethesda, right?
He works for Bethesda. He is the top developer at Bethesda. Maybe the head of Bethesda. I forget. I know he works for Bethesda.
But here's the thing. I can't give anything but that he says validity because look at Fallout 76. Look how that
game was bad.
And now it's, from what I hear, now it's tolerable.
Now it's fine. It didn't have the same turnaround that like No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk did, but it had an okay post-development support to it that made it fun.
Because I mean, those Fallout fans don't ever die.
They really don't. I just downloaded Fallout 4 on my PS4 here in Mexico so I can play it because I never finished the game. I fell off really hard, so I really want to play it again. But still, like regardless, I mean,
and then
this is talking about like Starfield, all right? Starfield, one of the most anticipated games of 2023, and one of the biggest names for next-gen consoles, not to mention PC, being 30 frames.
Yeah,
what
like
the fuck? I can't, right? I can't. Because you remember, and I remember the day that those next-gen consoles got announced, bro. Right. I remember those fucking days. I remember that fucking day, right? And they said those magic words. 60 to 120 frames is now the new standard. They swore by that. They said it. They said every single 4K, game. Up to 8K for the PS5.
Oh my God.
So much was promised.
Oh my God. So much was promised, right? And every single game was going to be 120 frames or 60
at least
frames.
60,
or 60 to 120, right? And it was more 120 for Xbox. They were promising that. And so, and then now you got these games. They're just like, oh yeah, man, sorry, we gotta downgrade this to like 30. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
It's okay. See, it made sense to have, and this actually goes into another argument that I have with next gen games, similar to the whole similar but not entirely the same, like with games that are just being capped at 30 FPS without the option. But like games nowadays, they also launch with, fidelity versus performance options. And I'm still over here like, again, next gen game. You have the technology, you have the money. Why the fuck aren't we getting 4K 60 games?
So here's the thing. I get that technology doesn't always work the way you want it to, and that sometimes you have to make cuts and sacrifices. But if you have a game, and here's my point, here's one of my points, is that you can you have games that are in development hell. You have games that surpass a whole console's life cycle before coming out. So it's just like, I understand that. I understand development issues happen. Yeah. You have games like Skull and Bones. Now is in development hell. This game's been being worked on for 8 years.
Development hell, all right?
This game has been being worked on for 8 years.
Yeah, god damn.
8 years. By the time it comes out, we're probably going to have a PS5 Pro or PS6. So you gotta understand, and I understand you invest money. Investors invest money. You don't want to lose something because you have to focus on the next gen, and you took too long with this one product. But goddamn, when it comes out, I don't know what you'd rather have. Would you rather have a product that comes out that's not living up to what was promised, or would you
never
have
come out?
Yeah, it never come out. But at least the next thing you come out with, you can give the same integrity and passion to, so it can come out correctly. And that's the thing with, and it's funny because so much of the gaming's attitude has shifted in the past 2 years. Before then it was like, I want it now. I don't care what it's. I just want it, right? But then now it's just like, I can wait. I do not want to play something where I'm running through walls and there's no door.
But no, I 100% agree with you on that, and that's why, like, whenever I see a new game get like delayed or something, I'm like, you know what? Fine, because odds are the devs are actually putting into work and time into this game that they need to make it good. I'm tired of games getting rushed to release. I'm tired of people bullying developers into releasing a game early or when it's not finished, because then they get mad saying, why didn't you release the finished game? I'm like, well, why didn't you give them the fucking time? But
so here's the thing I don't think I've ever really thought about before this moment, where it's just like there's a different culture when it comes to the PC game versus the console games, because what 100%. PC games do, they release the first part of the game and put it in early access. Now, if console games can develop some kind of system like that or adopt that system completely, that would be cool.
I think it's easier for PC to do that because their stuff is a lot more, I want to say open source, but it's a lot like when you have a game on PC, you have a lot. It's very
flexible.
Yeah, it's a lot super flexible in that respect. Whereas consoles, there's a lot more programming and coding that goes into like pushing out a update to that game. Not to mention, whenever a game gets updated on console, it takes fucking forever to do it. So it's like, oh my god.
And this is going to be brought up in one of my future points, where it's just like people are going to start to wonder why bother once consoles get more expensive and they're still doing the same bullshit.
Exactly.
We're gonna wonder. But before we even get to that, go ahead.
Yeah, so like my biggest thing is like, because I don't even think I talked about this, like what I said before about games having like the option, like we really do these devs need to start giving us like, for like performance and fidelity at the same time. It's becoming like there's no actual excuse for this anymore. But with Starfield, I get games that are like marketed like, like God of War Ragnarok was, where it was going to release on previous gen and then they had to delay it and push it back and put it more developing into it. So it ended up releasing on both PS4 and PS5. So I get that. But Starfield was always marketed as a next gen release and is one of the most ambitious games to come out this year, or at least it fucking was, because there's so much like, there's a couple of things about Starfield, and there's another game that we're going to touch on later on in this video. But speaking strictly about Starfield right now, it's not only that they didn't give us 30 FPS or 60 FPS as being capped at 30 FPS. It's also the fact that you're not able to freely fly between worlds like you can in like No Man's Sky, for example.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually came out and said that you're not going to be able to freely fly everywhere. And they said, and that's okay. I'm just like, why the fuck would it be okay? Like, I have a feeling it's going to be like a cinematic cutscene similar to what we had in, the Outer Wilds. Well, the Outer Worlds. Sorry, the Outer Worlds.
So like, you're telling me...
hop in a ship and cutscene to the other planet. And I'm like, I don't want that, though. I don't want that, though.
You're telling me that I can just go back in time, or I can just go back and replay the famous the completely amazing space odyssey known as Mass Effect and get the same result as a game coming out almost 20 years later on a console generation twice past what this other game was based on. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Exactly. Okay. Like what I was, and this might be strictly from like, you know, well, like expectations wise, because we didn't get a whole lot about Starfield to begin with. There's little that we've gotten about Starfield, right? So this might have been from an expectation standpoint, but I was expecting this game to be like the console version of Star Citizen, all right? And if y'all don't know, Star Citizen is a huge goddamn fucking game. Kind of vaporware at this point. Kind of vaporware, but still, like, I've seen some people play it. It is so goddamn cool. It's like if you had Elite Dangerous, but you could get out of your ship and do FPS shit, and you had a whole ecosystem and everything. That's what I was expecting from Starfield. I was like, okay, awesome. Like Space Age, Odyssey, epic, badassery, fly wherever the fuck you want, like a realistic No Man's Sky. That's what I wanted.
See, I learned my lesson way back. See, I don't know what it is about some people that don't learn the lessons about video games until they're like 30, 10, 20, 30 years. I learned back when I was 14, wee old teenager, impulsive as fuck, liked everything that I liked, including, I was impulsive. I wanted everything now and I wanted everything and I didn't care. Anytime I jumped at something, I could, right? My heart got broken.
So much.
When let's see, a little game called Destiny.
Oh my
promised
god!
To be Destiny. You remember they had a whole website.
Will fight you on that, but yeah.
No, they had a whole website, and before anything was even gameplay, they were just like, "Yo, we're announcing this game called Destiny. It's about your destiny. It's gonna be the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the dopest. You had first person and third person. When you saw the first trailer, nobody knew what it was. People weren't doing stuff like that just quite yet. You were just like, yo, what the hell? This is dope. And then
it launched.
It was good, and then it just plateaued. And then Destiny 2 came out, and I was just like, nah.
Destiny 2 went back up, and then went down again, and then went free to play, and went back up. And you know what?
And it was because they're charging all the stuff for all things that I wanted in the game too. Like
exactly,
DLC wasn't really that great back then. That was back when people looked at it like it was NFTs. Exactly. So it was like, yo, I gotta pay $30 for what? A cutscene, 5 extra missions, maybe more broken.
And now
guns
that's what they're doing. And now that's just what they're doing now.
That's all they're doing now. And it's just like
new DLC, new raids, and everything that you have to pay, like basically the price of a new goddamn game to get into. And yes, it comes with a lot of content, but when you have a game,
once Destiny 3 comes out, it's going to make all that money irrelevant.
Well,
you know what's going to happen.
But also, and we've had this conversation before, when you have a live service game that is $60 to $70, and then all the content after that is $40 to $50, that's fucking bullshit. That's why Destiny 2 should have been free to play from the very beginning. And you know what? This leads us into the next game that we're pissed off about today, and that's Suicide Squad Killed the Goddamn Justice League, and how they just announced, not even announced, they dropped an image on Twitter, and I think it got taken down real fast because people got real pissed, because I don't think I can find it on Twitter anymore, but I'm going to find it somewhere and put it up on screen so everyone can see it. But it basically showed that they made Destiny in DC and basically gave you 4 classes and a bunch of different loadouts and armors and stuff like that. Gave you different power levels for each thing, like an armor level and a weapon level in this game. It's basically showing us that this game's going to be live service. And I'm like, that is the best way a really good dev can shoot themselves in the foot and fall out of the grace of really, really true fans. It happened with Bethesda and Fallout 76. It happened with Bungie. It happened with fucking oh my god, it happened with BioWare. Like, come on. You've seen this happen time and time again, and every single time they're like, oh, live service is a great idea for next gen. No, the fuck it's not. This is next gen. Live service is scum. It is scum.
Hi, hello, this is KJ, interrupting your regularly scheduled program to bitch a little bit. Thanks for the platform, Patrick, appreciate you. Why in the actual fuck is this game basically just Destiny? I don't think I've ever been on such a roller coaster with a studio that has such a good fucking track record, and now I have to be really fucking concerned. Now, after those leaks dropped, obviously there were some reports coming out saying that the main devs that did the Arkham franchise actually left this project because originally they wanted to do a Superman game, and WB said, nah, y'all gonna do our fucking games as a service. So it's still rock steady. I'm still gonna be hopeful, optimistic, let's say optimistic about the game and how good it is. And honestly, I can't talk a lot of shit. I beat Gotham Knights. It was a fun little story. It's fun to play with your homie. I beat Avengers. It's a fun little story. It's fun to play with your homies. As long as this game continues to be, just a fun co-op experience, I guess it'll be fine, but gotta say, so far, I am real disappointed the fact that this is basically just Destiny with a DC skin. The shooting looks fine. I need to see more gameplay, honestly. I need an actual overview of what this game is, because that's kind of what the fucked up part is. We have no idea what this game still is. We know it's probably just Destiny, but we don't know the structure of how these, hero clashes or boss fights or raids, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, are going to go. And I'm going to need me a fucking press conference fucking soon. The game comes out in May, so like what the hell? Can we get some fucking updates, please? This has been your interruption. I hope you guys continue to have a lovely day. Thanks, Pat.
It is not appropriate unless that game is free to maybe $5 to $10.
100%. It's a free-to-play game. Throw all the microtransactions and pay DLC you fucking want into that game. But the fact that you're paying $70 and then all the content's gonna be microtransactions, loot boxes, loot boxes, by the way, and all this other shit that you have to pay for with real money that you can't generate in game. Oh, also, I forgot Square Enix. Crystal Dynamics and Square
Enix.
Yeah, but yeah, happened with them too, because Avengers live service. Fuck off.
So, I don't think live service and next gen are really. I think live service is just a genre, and it's going to be there whether it wants to or not. When it comes to live service, you can't really. That doesn't really come with next gen or not next gen. It's just a genre.
Yes, and no, but we're talking about what we should expect from next gen, what we were promised from next gen, and live service games are rarely good.
Well, so that has to do with purely the performance. Like, you can have next gen live games. I was going to lead more into like a better example of what we're talking about would be like Gotham Knights. Like I really like that game, and I like playing it on PC, and I would never ever get it on console, and I wouldn't advise anybody to get it on console. And the reason is,
and I paid $35 for it.
That's dope. But when I say what I'm about to say, you see it. Where it's just
I get it.
PC, the game was $60 fucking bucks.
Oh yeah.
And I could play that at 60 frames, right? I could play that at 60 frames. I could play it fluently. Yeah. I can get in games with other people. And I did that, and that actually helped me. I played the game on hard. And once it gets to the end of the game, it gets pretty fucking hard. And somebody randomly came in, and we beat the shit out of these game, and it was super fun. And I fucking that was the first time I played with anybody else with the game, and with a random person at that, and it was really fun. It was just so enjoyable. We were just hyping the chat and everything. And here's the thing with the performance, it didn't flutter. It didn't dramatically drop. It wasn't like crazy.
Like
and then
happening on consoles.
You look at consoles struggling to get to 30 frames. But guess what? You paid $10 to $15 more than I did for the same product that is half the frame rate, half the performance in general. And then apparently it was even having frame rates on the PS5. So yeah. And then I know exactly what you mean. So it's just like you see this, and then you think long term. I started thinking about I knew gaming was going to be a hobby for me for a while.
Oh yeah.
Since I was probably like 13, since I was probably like 10, I was like, you know what? I'm playing video games forever. Fuck you. I don't care what you say. Like, fuck you, mom, dad. Tell me that it's just a kid's thing. It's not. You see some bloodied up, you see some fucked up things in games that sometimes movies don't even show anymore. Yeah. So like, you can't even say that. But like, I knew I was going to do this for a long time, and now, you know, you start thinking more long term as an adult, and you're just like, all right, consoles are going to be $800, $900 within the next 2 cycles, right? And then games are probably going to end up being $80 to $85 baseline, you know, and then probably even higher with more if there's an inflation with taxes. Yeah. So you think about that, and this is like, if they're still doing the same bullshit, and they've been doing a lot of this bullshit for a couple console generations now. So it's like, if they keep going like this, people are going to seriously wonder why bother. They're going to save up their money. They're going to get a PC. You got motherfucking Gabe Newell going door to door, handing out his product to people that ordered it because he wanted to give that love and touch and care that he could with people around him. You know, you got Steam and Epic Games throwing out free games literally every week, sales every other week, games that are of really or good. Close to good quality that are AA, single A, indie for like a half or a quarter of the price. Vampire Survivors is $2, and it made it to the Game Awards.
I got that shit on my phone. It's so good.
$2.
I got that shit free on my phone. I love that shit. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And you know, yeah, I feel like this is going to be an issue forever going forward. Like there's always going to be a handful of devs that under deliver no matter what when it comes to next gen, and it's bullshit because you know what they're capable of, you know? Like, we know what Bethesda's capable of. Bethesda's a great dev, typically. They're usually an amazing dev. They put out some incredible games. Like, the Fallout series has been great. Skyrim, all the Elder Scrolls games were amazing, you know? So it's like, we know they have the capabilities. And you know what? Starfield might still be really good. But at the same time, you're still just settling for a really good gameplay, but sacrificing it looking really good on next-gen consoles when it's marketed as that next-gen game.
And all of you coping ass motherfuckers out there, it's just like, well, we had 30 frames before, we could just stick to that. Hey, do you like black and white television? I sure as fuck don't. 2 colors on a screen, that's it. After seeing something like, I don't know, Disney or Avatar or whatever movie you want to fucking use that was legendary, you want to go to black and white movies? We had it before.
Like 30 frames was acceptable back in like the PS4 and PS3. Obviously, you couldn't do anything more than PS3.
What?
PS4, it was acceptable. It was fine. We still had games that pushed up to 60, and you know what? It was nice to have that. You know?
Doom. Shout out to Doom.
With the PS4 Pro. Yeah, exactly. That was dope as hell. I love to see that. But 30 frames is a thing of the past, all right? If we make this, like if we say, it's okay to stay at 30 frames. We get it. We understand. When it's like, you know, we're in 2023. It's a PS5. The PS5 has been out for 3 years or 4 years. I forget now. If we say that's okay and keep giving these devs the pass, we're only encouraging them to keep doing this to us in the future. And it's going to keep happening. Like, you know, we're going to be saying 60 frame maxes for the PS6 and the next Xbox when it should be 120. And it's going to keep on getting more and more because what's the point? What is the point of developing new consoles? I mean, besides, you know, money. But what is the point of like evolving technology and developing new consoles and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in tech for gaming if we're giving these devs the pass to underdevelop their games and undersell us? Like,
and this dives into my final point. That's just gonna be like a fucking bombshell, hot take or not hot take.
All right, go for it.
You know,
I want to hear.
And it's just like, and people are gonna be like, "Yo, what?" So it's just like, here's the thing. Personally, I think next gen is a buzzword.
Oh, it is
100% a buzzword, because you talk about next gen performance. PCs had 60 frames for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And like when you talk about next gen performance in gaming, you just said it. Next gen performance in gaming, is it really a true next gen if it's not for all platforms involved?
Yeah.
So like you take, everybody knows in the industry, everybody fucking knows PCs are where it's at. Consoles pale in comparison. They're thinking up top, they're like, how do we market this thing that is clearly the worst in its class, but still get millions of dollars on it? They want to glamorize it. So they try to glamorize it. They try to stylize it, and they promote simplicity and cheapness, but then also now want to fuck over its customers. Like I don't understand what you're doing, and so to me, like I can't even, that's why I got out of the console wars after I got a PC, because like it just, everything just became fluid, and it's just like
I get it.
So
I get it.
And my biggest example, I lived this perception, because 2020, I'll take you back, everybody was fighting for a PS5. I got an order, thankfully, and shit got stolen by my delivery driver. All right, cool. I get my refund, and then I go get a PC. And that shit was about $500, same as the PS5. So I'm still seeing most games running 60 frames with a low-end PC. Something that's the same price is still making moves against something that's marketed as to be revolutionary and next gen. And now I'll put a couple extra dollars in, and now I can run things at 120 frames. Sometimes, a lot of times, and if I tweak what I need to tweak, I can run a lot more games at 120 frames. No. While consoles that are claiming to be the best thing ever since sliced bread coming out are having issues running at 60 frames after they promised us that they would run at 60 frames. And so back to that other point, like once you get to that price point, not only do you have games on PC in early access, so you can buy it as soon as a piece of the game becomes available. This is your gamble. As long as you believe in it and you want to stick with it, it's something you can do instead of getting everybody hyped up. And then also with the early access, you can talk to the developers as they make the game. So you feel like you have more power.
Nice. I love it. I love that. Also,
you got Discord now.
That also gives just gamers a better connection to their devs. However, that is usually a lot more common in like indie devs and AA games than AAA. You don't really get.
That's true.
AAA.
That's true. But then it's also like the AAA is also more marketed to the consoles. Consoles don't have anything like that yet. So it's just like you really start to wonder, what is next gen? What are all these things that they're marketing? They're trying to market consoles because they know consoles aren't as good. They know consoles aren't that great, and now we are demanding more of consoles
I wouldn't say
because
that,
the price is increasing. I'm not saying I'm not shitting on consoles. But I'm just saying, like,
I'd have to push back on that sentiment, just that, and then I'll move into the last bit because you actually did a really good segue. But I do want to push back really quick. I wouldn't say that they're marketing, PCs as better than consoles. Like they each have their own place. I mean, not everyone.
No. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. I'm just trying to say they're trying to market to and shift the market and to hype up things with buzzwords like next gen because they know that if they just laid it up plain and simple, it's not really a great. It's not like the investment that they want because they're not going to be able to keep the promises that they're making.
I'll give you that.
Like they're making all these promises because they're just like, yo, PCs had this already for 10 years. What's going to stop them from waking up and being smart consumers and saying, yo, let me just save my money, save an extra $500. I could get something that can outrun the PS5.
Yeah,
like they're thinking like that.
Honestly, we've had this conversation before, and I'm pretty sure most gamers agree that. Like the natural evolution in terms of gaming ends with the PC. It just makes sense. Like you start off in the handhelds, you move into the consoles, you chill with the consoles for a couple of years, then you get adult money and you can dump
you get adult money.
And like the PC makes sense because you spend less over a greater period of time because you only have to upgrade certain systems. You don't have to upgrade every single thing all the time because you don't have to upgrade a new your new to the brand new graphics card every single time one comes out. You just buy one that you know is gonna perform well over the next 10 to 15
years.
And then you might upgrade your processor or your graphics card or your memory, or you upgrade certain things here and there just to keep up. Just to keep up. Whereas consoles, you have to upgrade to a brand new console.
The whole thing.
So it makes sense doing evolving
with less choice too
at a certain point in time when you can afford it. I'm not saying everyone should just go to PC right now. Obviously, it's hard to do because there's a learning curve to PC. And I don't even know the learning curves. I don't have a PC. I have a laptop that barely runs Cult of the Lamb. So,
I mean, shout out to Steam. It's easier with Steam Deck. Yes, and that's the thing. The thing about the PC market is that they're really trying to become more accessible. And that's really...
Yeah, that's super
That is really... I commend them, and once they do that, it is just going to be like, what's console? So this is good, right? Because you don't want a monopoly, so then consoles are going to have to figure out, all right, how can we be better in order to get our customers back, and it's going to be like, hey, how about you stop putting out shit games at $70 and charging us extra $40 for DLC? That would be nice. That would be just a thought, that would be nice, so like next gen, it doesn't exist.
So I mean, I'm gonna close this out with some a really good segue. Like I said, you had before. You were asking even though next gen is more or less a buzzword, you asked what is next gen. So I'm gonna open that question up to you, myself, and everyone else. Please comment below. But thinking next gen is an actual thing, actually exists. What does next gen mean to you specifically?
That's a fair opinionist question. Yeah, I agree. To me, it would be honestly just performance. I want those frame rates up. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I want those frame rates at a consistent 120 to even 200 frames. And now I understand I'm going to have to get a new monitor to keep up with that. Right. That's fair.
That's another thing.
But that is better performance to me. The fact if I can play Starfield at 120 frames, knowing how much that game has in it, that's next gen to me.
That'd be awesome.
And that's what they promised me for the extra amount of money I had to spend to get a new system and get PS Plus. Motherfuckers, fuck you.
No, I 100% agree with you there. I think performance is a big thing of what makes next gen. It's the performance that we were promised. It's a performance that they put on the box, native 4K. And yes, technically, PS5 games have been native 4K if you run them at fidelity mode. And this goes back to what I said before. I don't think we should have different modes in next-gen games. We should have the blend of fidelity and performance. You shouldn't have to be forced to choose between whether you want, the nice shading and the cool lighting, the ray tracing, but running at 30 frames.
And it's funny because
losing all of that, running at 1080p, but it's 60 frames, which is what I usually do because I want those frames. I want the game to be fluid and smooth and clean. That's the biggest thing. So it's annoying to me that we still have that choice in games. Developers are still forcing us to make the choice between fidelity and performance. But that's one thing that I did like about, I guess, a game last year, Ghostwire Tokyo. They had obnoxious amounts of choices to choose from.
Yeah.
They had fucking V-Sync options. They had standard fidelity and performance. They had a blend. They had there's 8 different choices. I was like, oh my God. They really developed that game to be able to play on whatever the hell you got. And that was dope. I like that. But at the same time, just make the game standard. You know what? I know the games are trying, they're trying to give console players the same control over the games that PC players do, but the thing is,
never's gonna happen.
It doesn't matter because you shouldn't for consoles. It's different because for PCs, because they're so intricate and because everyone who has a PC has different stuff inside their PC, that makes sense to include all those options to tweak the game how you want, to make it play the way you want.
Right.
But with a console, both consoles are set. Every single console has the exact same shit, which means all those games should run exactly the same on both fucking consoles, and they should both be great. Both to look amazing, have all the nice lighting, all the great sound, and have the performance behind it too. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And you know these devs have the money to make it happen. They just don't want to.
Here's the thing. I don't want to assume, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Okay.
And a lot of developers come out.
PlayStation 5 exclusives. They got Sony money, all right? Yeah. Sony has goddamn much money. Starfield, Bethesda has Microsoft money, all right? Like, there's zero excuse. Indie devs makes sense.
But
AA games make sense. But these big AAA games, there's no excuse. There just isn't.
And I've heard a couple people mention this in interviews, and I agree. Like, most people don't notice the difference between fidelity and performance, because games have gotten to the point where they look so good, it doesn't matter. It's going to look good.
That is a valid argument. That is a valid argument. However, I have a PC. I'll push back and say I see the difference between 30 frames and 60 frames, but I don't see the difference between like resolution. So like 1080p.
Yeah, that's what I'm not talking about. No, those frames, you feel the frame, you feel that frame difference. But like with resolution, like it's just like I have a Steam Deck and I have a PC. I have had games where I have tweaked the resolution to get my frames higher, and I barely noticed the difference. I said, this because the game natively just looks good because of how it was developed, the technology was developed on.
And I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But like my thing is, and this is also related to that. It's still very hard to find a TV or a monitor that supports, 120 hertz at 4K. Those shits are expensive because they still need HDMI 2.0, and that stuff is hard to come by and fucking expensive. So,
well, luckily it comes with your PS5, so it looks like I'm not playing that much. But no, that is my next gaming purchase, is to get a 120 hertz monitor, and it hurts. It hurts to not play anything at 90 to 100 FPS anymore. I used to make fun of my PC friends. I was like, why would you buy that game twice if you had it on console already? And they're just like,
this is
the frames. And I'm just like, is it really that impressive to go from 30 to 60?
I ended up just getting a 1080p monitor that runs everything at 120 hertz because I like the hertz. I really like the hertz because even my phone does it at 90 hertz display. Ooh. And like going from like 60 hertz to 90 hertz, I'm just like,
it's so smooth, man.
So it's so different. Smooth. I didn't think I would notice the difference, but oh my god, you do. So
I think
getting that gaming is important. It's just important, and that's what next gen should be.
I don't think we're gonna stop wanting more frames until we get to the frame rate of life.
It's never gonna happen. It's Googled. That's gonna be nearly impossible.
Frame rate of life is 1,000 frames per second. That is what we see.
Yeah,
we see 1,000 frames per second. When we get there, that's next gen right there, motherfucker.
Dude, that's just gonna be like full dive VR. And you know what? I've already had this conversation. I want full dive VR. Give me that shit. Give me that fucking Oasis from Ready Player One. I want that.
Oh
shit.
God.
I want that shit. I'm
already addicted to video games. I don't need that.
I want it. But anyways, guys, we want to hear from you. We want to know what next gen means to you. How you feel about Todd Howard saying 30 frames is perfect. It's fucking far from perfect, in my opinion. We want to hear what you think about. We didn't really talk about much, and we might have more opinions on this in the future. But we also want to hear what your opinions are about live service games in next gen. Personally, I think live service is scum, and I fucking hate it. But some people might like it. I don't know. But anyways, guys, leave all your thoughts, notes, comments, criticisms, everything you want in the comment section below. Jules, you got anything else to say?
No, man. Thanks for hopping on. We all wish Panda a good, happy hibernation. Hibernation. Hopefully he comes back strong. I'll say this every fucking video until he comes back. Hi, Panda.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We got a couple new subscribers. Shout out to y'all for being the real MVPs.
Thank you.
Love to see you. But yeah, please follow us on all of our social media. Facebook, not so much Instagram because we deleted that shit. Twitter, TikTok, my free cams, my OnlyFans. Maybe we should start just streaming nude. I don't know. Like, God. I also want to open up a Patreon. That should be something we do. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay excellent. Get a full 8 hours of sleep. Eat 3 square meals a day. Be healthy. Work out. Maybe. Kind of. I need to. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Also, check out all of our new shorts. We're going to be putting up shorts.
Hey,
stuff from all of our videos, you know, clips and shit. So yeah, check those out. Anyways, thanks so much. Stay excellent. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.